Hi, my name's Ben. That's also Ben. And today, we're going to break down some of the slang terms used in the world of rigging. The industry has a lot of names for products and processes, but these might not be the names that you use. We've been working to compile a list of terms to help you navigate the world of lifting and rigging. But if we miss something, be sure to drop it in the comments. Let's get into it. Let's start with the term rigging. Rigging is a complex practice that's used across many industries like mining, construction, steel, automotive, shipping, manufacturing, entertainment, and more.
Entertainment is a whole different list.
Rigging is the act of using equipment or gear, such as slings and rigging hardware, to move or secure materials. But did you know, depending on where you are in the world, what you are moving, or the specific rigging job you are doing, you might not even call it rigging.
Sometimes people call it slinging and dogging, especially the Aussies and in the UK.
And there are a whole bunch of other terms that get thrown around just like that. Here at Mazzella, we hear all types of different names for different rigging gear. Mazzella started as a company that made wire rope slings. But if you're in the field, you might call it something else.
That's a choker.
And we also make a lot of multi-leg sling assemblies. We can make them out of chain, wire rope, or synthetic materials.
That's a spreader or a bridle. And it depends on how many legs it has. Like if it has 4, it's called a quad.
Right. Multi-leg sling assemblies, or spreaders, have sling legs that are connected to a master link.
Well, that depends on what it looks like. Like some call it an oblong, ring, paralink, D-ring, bull ring. You gotta look at the shape.
Right. And as I mentioned before, slings can be made out of different materials. For example, this is a synthetic flat web sling.
Straps, synthetics, nylons, flat webs, softies.
And not only do slings come in many different materials, but they can also come in different shapes and configurations. Sometimes slings have eyes at the ends, and sometimes they're in a continuous loop configuration called an endless sling.
Depends on what they are made of. Sometimes they're called belts. If they're made of wire rope, they're called grommets.
And if a wire rope sling is not endless, you can get them with different eye types, depending on their application. Sometimes a standard eye wire rope sling is right for your application, while other times you may want thimble eye wire rope slings.
Soft eyes without a thimble, hard eyes with a thimble.
And sometimes the eyes are made in different ways. Hand spliced, Flemish spliced, or just folded back on itself and called a turn back eye.
The Flemish splice is sometimes called a mechanical splice, and turnbacks are sometimes called loopbacks or foldbacks.
If it is a commonly purchased sling or assembly, some industries may have their own nicknames for them.
A single leg wire rope sling with standard or thimble eyes that is used to attach to a tong on a drilling rig can be called a snub line. A single leg wire rope sling with thimble eyes where one end has a master link and the other end has a hook or a shackle can be called a stinger.
And no matter what type of sling you are using, what it is made out of, if you are lifting anything with an edge, you should be using cut protection. Sling protection, such as edge protection, abrasion protection, or cut protection, is an important part of every lift.
Softeners.
And when you are rigging using slings, you often are using different pieces of rigging hardware too. One of the most common pieces of rigging hardware is a shackle.
Some people call that a clevis, or a D-ring, or a Crosby.
There are different types of shackles, including round pin, screw pin, and bolt type shackles.
Sometimes call bolt types 4 parts: body, bolt, nut, pin.
And in rigging, there are lots of different hooks, like this one, called a sorting hook.
That's a shakeout hook / layout hook because you use it when you're shaking out steel.
Hoist hooks are required to, and most sling hooks should have a self-closing safety latch.
Safety latch equals catch, flappers, or mouse.
And no matter what type of rigging you use, it is always important to look at the WLL, or working load limit. This tells you the maximum amount of weight that piece of equipment is allowed to lift.
A lot of people use the old version, SWL, or safe working load.
And some loads or devices will include built-in lift points that swivel. These are called hoist rings.
Or lift rings or load rings.
If you're lifting something flat, like a plate of steel, you may want to use a plate clamp.
Plate clamp or plate dog.
Slings and hardware are important parts of rigging, but you can't forget about the cranes and hoists, whether that be a manual hoist or a powered hoist. There are several kinds. This is a lever hoist.
Most call that a come-along.
And up here is a hand chain hoist.
Chain block or chain fall.
There are electric hoists and even pneumatic or air hoists.
An air hoist cable is sometimes called a tugger wire. Electric hoists are sometimes just referred to as motors.
If a hoist or crane is powered, you need controls to operate. These controls can be wireless, using a remote or a radio transmitter and receiver, or they can have a push-button pendant that is attached to the hoist itself.
Pendant, banana, pickle.
Another important part of the rigging process is wire rope. Wire rope can be used to make slings and create barriers. Specialty wire rope is used on hoists and winches to hold up bridges and more. Your application will often determine the different wire rope end termination that you use. Wire rope clips are a common wire rope end termination.
Cable clamps.
Often, you will see clips like this, U-bolt style wire rope clips.
A lot of times, those are just called Crosleys.
Or this fist grip wire rope clip.
Sometimes known as monkey fists or double saddle clips.
Wire rope clips are often used in cable tensioning systems. One of the tools you can use when working to tension your cables is a wire rope grip.
Also known as a pork chop, rope dog, cable grip, haven grip, or wire rope puller.
When utilized on cranes, wire rope clips are often used in conjunction with a wedge socket.
Also known as a becket or turnback becket.
And a wedge socket is often used to install an overhaul ball on a mobile crane.
Headache ball.
There are a ton of slang terms out there for different pieces of equipment, as well as rigging techniques. For example, what the heck is bull rigging?
A bull rigger is someone who uses hand rigging or drifting or tarzaning to move something using chain falls, come-alongs, winches, skates, or whatever when a crane can't be used.
So again, depending on the industry that you work in, the part of the country or the world you live in, or even the job that you do, the terminology might change. Hopefully, this guide will help you better communicate when purchasing equipment, understand rules and regulations, have a clear understanding when out in the field, or improve your effectiveness in the role you play in the lifting and rigging industry. If you need any of the rigging products we mentioned today, or anything else, no matter what you call it, here at Mozilla, we have it. And we have the experts who can help you make the right purchase so you can get your job done safely and efficiently. Feel free to contact us. Links below. If you found this video useful, informative, entertaining, or you just feel like being friendly, then hit that like button so we can get this information out to everyone who needs it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video. If you have a question, drop it in the comments so we can get you an answer. Remember, safe rigging is smart rigging. My name is Ben. Stay safe out there.
Cut.